Today's story is one of those that cuts through all the noise because it reveals exactly how profit, power, and prejudice now operate in tandem across Silicon Valley. The headline? Silicon Valley's most powerful investors are building the future of war, and they're using Islamophobia to do it. On July 4th, as most Americans were lighting grills and watching fireworks, Shawn Maguire, a high-profile venture capitalist at Sequoia Capital, was online, tweeting anti-Muslim hate. He called Zoran Mandani, the Muslim NYC mayoral primary winner, part of an Islamist culture that lies about everything. That wasn't just a personal attack. It was a strategic move in a broader shift. Silicon Valley is merging with the U.S. war machine. And racism is the fuel. Maguire isn't just another loud voice online. He's one of the lead architects behind Sequoia's investments in Israeli defense startups, companies like Kela, Wiz, and Dirt, all founded by elite Israeli military intelligence units. Their mission? Turn Israel into the global defense tech hub for Western militaries. And there's real money in it. In March, Maguire helped launch a firm called March Industries, focused on autonomous military systems, drones, surveillance, predictive targeting. His justification? To defend the West. The enemy? As always, brown bodies reduced to existential threats that must be managed by machines. This isn't a metaphor. Gaza has already become the prototype. Palantir, co-founded by Peter Thiel, one of Maguire's early funders, used Gaza as a live test environment. Israeli military units tested predictive policing, drone coordination, and algorithmic targeting systems there. The systems trained on Palestinian lives are now being sold to Western governments as smart security. And the ethical boundaries? Gone. Silicon Valley has shifted from building apps to building war infrastructure. What used to be about connecting people is now about targeting them. What used to be about innovation is now about domination. Let's break down how this affects different groups. For poor and working-class people, especially immigrants and Muslims, this means predictive surveillance, biometric tracking, and AI-powered policing at the border and in their neighborhoods. For the middle class, it's the silent erosion of civil liberties. Algorithms watching online activity. Political dissent increasingly flagged as national security risk. And for the wealthy, for the VCs and tech elites, this is a gold rush. They're getting richer, turning war into code and bigotry into branding. So, what happens next? Most likely, we'll see more of this. The defense portfolio in tech will grow. Islamophobia will keep getting normalized, especially under President Trump's second term. That's an 80% probability. Best case? Maybe a public backlash forces VCs to draw ethical lines. But that's less likely, maybe 10%. Worst case? These war-born systems get embedded into domestic law enforcement, immigration, and online speech monitoring. The battlefield comes home. And there are ripple effects. Trump's return will deepen deregulation, pour money into AI militarization, and reward any tech company willing to serve the state. Gaza will continue being used as a weapons lab. And defense tech will become the default business model of Silicon Valley. Let me summarize. This is not just about one man or one tweet. It's about an entire ecosystem where hate isn't a side effect. It's the business model. Figures like Maguire are building a future where racialized violence is automated, sanitized, and endlessly scalable. And the worst part? Most people won't even notice it's happening because the language of freedom, innovation, and security masks what this really is. War profiteering coded in the language of tech. Thanks for listening. This is Clarity News, where we say the quiet parts out loud, not to shock you, but to prepare you. Because understanding the architecture of control is the first step toward building something better.
Welcome to Clarity AI News, where we use advanced synthetic intelligence to identify and analyze news stories that matter most to people who truly care about independent media and honest, unbiased world news coverage. Please remember to like and subscribe below, and thank you for watching.